Hello, and welcome to our Mobile Viewpoint webinar. Thank you for joining. Today, we're going to be talking about remote working, and particularly live streaming for remote workers. By way of introduction, my name is Mark Andrews. I'm the Global Sales Manager at Mobile Viewpoint. And Michelle, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Michel Weiss, Director of Mobile Viewpoint, and I'm here today together with Mark to tell you more about our home production equipment we sell.
So the setup today, I'm going to give a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to share with you. It'd be about 10, 20 minutes. And at the end of that time, we're going to have a Q&A session. Now, within Zoom, I don't know if you're familiar with it, everyone's on mute, so you can make as much noise as you like. Nobody can hear you. But there's also a Q&A session within Zoom itself. So not in the chat box, but in the Q&A session. So what I'd suggest, as we go through the presentation, if you have questions, please write them in there, and at the end we pick them up and then we'll go through them. So first things first, I'm going to share my screen, in particular my PowerPoint presentation. If you just give me a second as I mangle with Zoom. There we go. So first of all, welcome. As I mentioned, we are actually live streaming from our studio, from our headquarters at Mobile Viewpoint, which is actually in Alkmaar in the Netherlands. And we're discussing live streaming from remote locations, particularly potentially from home, that sort of thing, especially given the recent times. I don't want to be accused of being opportunistic. These are strange times, very tragic times too, and difficult times for many of us. But we've been asked by a lot of our broadcast customers to come up with very quick solutions. And that's what really today is to talk about. So we're going to be addressing some of the needs that people have for remote working, especially with live streaming, and how we address that. And the other thing that might be interesting is this whole webinar presentation is actually brought to you through vPilot. So vPilot is our automated studio. There's no camera people involved. All the operations are run actually by AI. And we could talk a little bit about that as well, because that might be interesting as well for remote working as well. But swiftly moving on. In terms of setting the scene, so home working at the moment, it's become pretty universal for everybody. Here at our headquarters, in fact, most people are now working from home. I think we're all very familiar with Zoom, for example, Microsoft Teams, Google Hangouts, whatever it is that you're using to video conferencing. But what I want to stress is what today is not about, and that is about corporate video conferencing. Obviously, it's very low cost, very commodity, and it works very well. What we are looking at is really for people who need to do professional live streaming from home. So, for example, with some of our broadcast customers, they have a lot of reporters, journalists who are now working from home. They want to have professional live streams. They've been using Skype up until now, and it's perhaps not giving the quality that they want. But also professional vloggers, that sort of thing. But also we are seeing big corporations, big corporates who are doing live streaming as well. And again, it's not the video conferencing, it's very much the CEO, CFO, or the press people who want to do those interviews, but from a home environment. But they're really after the quality of the live stream and, of course, the reliability. So I am aware that some of the people joining today are probably not familiar with Mobile Viewpoint. So a very, very quick overview of who we are. Who are we to get up here and start talking about what you should be doing in terms of live streaming? Well, actually, our pedigree is in live streaming, particularly in remote locations. So many of our customers, news production, sports production, out in the field where they need to get a very quick, reliable live stream back to a broadcast center. Very innovative. And more recently, we were sort of doing more and more in the AI technology as well, including the vPilot, which I've mentioned, but also we have another product called IQ Sports Producer, which is basically a way of producing sports games, but again, without the need of a camera team or a director on site. Here in Alkmaar in the Netherlands, we do all our development, sales, support. Everything's built here in the Netherlands. We're not a faceless corporate. And our customers, including broadcasters, production companies, and also security, law enforcement for covert operations, mobile surveillance, that sort of thing. And as a quick overview of some of our customers, we have a global reach. We have resellers, partners, distributions throughout the world as well. So wherever you're watching in from today, we probably have local support nearby where we can help you. And I've just added this slide, actually. I'm going to talk a little bit now about our products. But something, we did the same webinar this morning, and some of the feedback I got is you keep talking about Link Matrix. What is Link Matrix? So just so you're aware, Link Matrix is our online management platform. All the products that we're showing today can be basically managed remotely by a remote person. And that's what Link Matrix is all about. So you can manage the live streaming device, you can manage the receiving device, and it's showing proxies, that sort of thing, which is basic. You can see what's happening, but it's all under the control of Link Matrix. So when we talk about Link Matrix, that's what I'm referring to. So first of all, I'm going to start with one of our products. It's a very established product, it's been around for a long time, and it's called the Streamur App. So it's just an app that will run on your smartphone. And here we have a picture of actually someone in the BBC, Anna in the BBC. One thing I like about this picture, I don't know if it shows where you are, but that she's actually got her lens cracked. But you know what? It doesn't matter. The feature functionality is there. It's very robust as an application, and she can live stream for broadcast playout. So the smartphone app, what is it? Runs on Android or iOS. But it's all about quality and reliability. So the fact is, though it's live streaming over the 4G network, if you do have Wi-Fi, you can bond them together. You can bond the 4G with the Wi-Fi. The 4G tends to take precedent because actually Wi-Fi is quite a bursty technology. But some of the other features that you need if you're broadcasting, especially to a broadcast center, you want a director to talk in your ear. So we have something called IFB, which is the return audio capability as well. But also with the app as well, you can have a return video. So the return video can be used for many things, but you could see yourself, or if you have a director, or if you want to do interviews, you have a little window that you can use for return video. We're using a professional codec, H.264 in this case. So H.264 is a way of compressing the video, especially if you're going over the sort of 4G network where you might have limited bandwidth. So obviously we need to compress the video, but in a professional way. And Link Matrix can be remotely managed. So this is a professional app, and not to be confused with, perhaps a live streaming app that you get for free from Facebook. Hopefully you could see the difference here, with the IFB, the remote management, and the fact it can be encrypted as well. It is a professional streaming app. So I feel I've talked enough now. So I'm going to go on to the next slide, and actually I'm going to pass over to Michelle to talk a little bit more and a bit more in depth about the app.
Yes, over here you see some screenshots from the app, and in a few minutes we shall also show it live. But to give a general idea about the app is that the app actually has two connections, especially the iPhone and the MacBook app can do that. The Android app can unfortunately not bond mobile and Wi-Fi together because that's forbidden by Google. So with Apple you are able to bond the 3G, 4G and the Wi-Fi together, and you will see the connection bandwidth on top of the screen. So on the left top, you see actually the bandwidth from the individual channels you are doing. Then, of course, the big red button is where it's all about. That's actually where you set yourself live it. But before you do that, you can do a small amount of settings. The major part of the settings are hidden actually in the application settings, which I'll also show later on. And that's done on purpose because we want to overcome that if you share this client with people in the field, just civilians or mobile journalists who are not that tech savvy, that they cannot change settings that are very essential. So they can change something like the delay from the minimum is 2 seconds at the moment, so they can only make it large if it is not recommended, but they can do it. They can change the volume of the microphone, and they can also enable and disable the return video stream. And they can also connect themselves with a decoder. And that's of course very interesting if you think about it, because then as an MCR you can just tell your mobile journalist to get live on a certain channel, and then you can just wait for them to appear. You don't have to switch anything and keep an eye on the link matrix, for example. So as you see on the screen, you have the settings button that actually allows you to switch on recording locally and return video. You have the microphone button that actually enables you to change the volume, the gain of the microphone. And then on the lower part, what we'll show you later on, is that you can also switch between a record, a local disk, and also an audio-only app. The app is next to video, also audio only for radio customers.
Yeah, it's worth noting, isn't it, that you can record the files locally. So if you are doing later post-production, you can then upload the files for a better quality.
Yeah, and also the system also enables you to do a small network test, so that will show you how good the connectivity is. And with a color, red, green, yellow, of course, indicates red is bad connectivity, you just record on your disk. But green is, of course, perfect, and yellow is a little bit in between. You can go live, but the quality is not great. So stand still and don't move too much.
Go live at your own risk. So the next slide is showing some more of the behind-the-scenes settings, I guess.
Yes, on the right side, the left side you just seen, and on the right side you see all the detailed settings you can do. Actually, the delay setting is over here. But you can set the maximum bit rate, you can set the frame rate, you can set the video format. So most people will recommend just go to 1080, but you can also do 720, and you can also change the frame rate. But yeah, if your phone allows it, go as high as possible. And also over here, you can actually also disable the Wi-Fi. For example, if you don't trust the Wi-Fi, you can just disable it over here. And what you also see over here is that you have a preview mode, which will also show you live. So if you want to go live, you can just talk with the director in a low bitrate mode, so you don't spend too much data on your SIM cards. And when you really have to go live, you press a second time on the record button, and then you go on high bandwidth.
Okay. Well, perhaps, Michelle, you want to give a demo? I always think it's a little bit brave. We're going to do a live demo of our mobile app. So what I need to do now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then we're going to switch to the camera. So this is another camera we have in the studio.
Do you see my phone? Yes.
Yep.
What I first will do is just log out a little bit so you can see where it normally starts. So over here, we go in. This is the settings you can do, and you can actually give your username, password, and then you have, of course, the nickname you can do. Mark is making it a bit sharper at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not a camera person, but there again, that should be a little bit sharper.
So you just can just press the login button, and there you go, and then you get into the app. Now, sorry. The purpose of the app is, of course, that you keep it horizontally, and actually we show also to the customer, to the user, that he has to turn it around. This to overcome that you get these awkward videos you see many times on TV. So we force you to swap it around, and then I will show you some setting stuff. I can, of course, enable, oh, wait a minute, enable and disable the flashlight. Oh, I can, of course, also change the video run. So there I am again. Back over here, you can change the volume setting. So you can actually do the gain of your microphone. Over here, you have the settings. Here you can set the delay as well. You can say store locally, so you always have the high quality recording locally on your phone. And here's the video return you can enable or disable. This is just version information. Then I go to the button below. This is actually a very interesting feature that you can connect yourself to a destination. So you can actually connect yourself with any destination. It's available, as you can see over here. You did it, so you can also connect yourself to this one. Oh. Says, okay, I'm warning, I'm already connected, so okay, shouldn't do it. But over here I can enable the IFB as well. And then can I go to the latest setting where you can actually also go to the audio only setting of the system. And then you get a live audio app, very interesting for radio customers. And also over here you can again select your destination. Go back to the video. Oh, I did the mistake. What did I do?
That's always the problem with live demos, isn't it?
Yeah. I did something wrong. Okay, there we go. So if you press live, then we are now in the preview mode. You see it up over here. I will show you. This is the preview mode. And you see my microphone of my volume. You see over here, it's a little bit low, so I should have gained it up a little bit. Here you can zoom in, zoom out. And actually you can also do the autofocus, and then you press longer, it will actually phase lock. You can also over here, you can actually change the light level. So upstairs on the top left, you see now the bit rates. And I'm still in preview mode, but if I press a second time on the record button, actually also get the network test, I promise you. You see the bit rates above that are quite high. So quite soon I see as a journalist that it's really very good to go live now. See, it's green. So there we go. And then actually we can show ourselves live, Mark.
Okay.
Shall we try it out?
Well, if I hold the camera, you make the output live on the Zoom. There we go. So you're now live.
Yeah, I am. So this is live from the iPhone, and this is an I think 1080p, and actually it is converted back to 1080i for our studio environment. There you can also see the studio background. So Mark.
There we go. Yes, fantastic. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Glad that's over, Michelle, because whenever you're doing a live demo live on air, you never know quite what's going to happen, but it's all gone well. So let me share my presentation again. Okay, there we go. Right, so after the app, we're obviously a hardware company as well as a software company. And in fact, we've been asked by our broadcast customers about 4 weeks ago to develop something that they can use for their remote people. Now, we have some products already, but we've decided to fine-tune some of the ones we have already into what we've called Trolley Live, and it's actually a family. So it's designed to be used in a remote location, but actually, we're assuming the people at the other end are non-technical, so they need link matrix to do the full management. Now, everything's in H.265, which is the best compression you can get currently on the market. It's sort of 50% more efficient than H.264. But all the features that you'd expect, like the full IFB, a return video, broadcasters at the receiving end, often they want an HD SDI output, and also file-based workflows. So in other words, I'm doing my live stream, but actually I want to save high-quality files locally, which I can maybe FTP later on, which they can use sort of in post-production as well. So it's having all these features. So we've come up with the Trolley Live, which is a brand new product from Mobile Viewpoint, and it comes in 2 flavors. We have the Trolley Live Rack version that we're going to discuss, and then totally brand new product, the Trolley Live, which is kind of what we've put together over the last sort of 4 weeks. And at the moment, it's currently it's still in development and build, and we're hoping to have this available in the next 4 weeks. The Trolley Live Remote Pro, which will be a self-contained box with everything, but I'll explain. So to begin with, the Trolley Live, the rack mount version. So what is this? I kind of think of it more sort of as a DIY setup in many ways, in the fact that you can actually use your own camera. Typically, it's a PTZ camera, which is Fisker controlled, which means you can remotely control this. Also add your own screen to it as well. So that means for the video return or for an auto cue, for a teleprompter as well, you can do that. And then the rack itself comes in several flavors. So we have 3 flavors. The one channel is basically one camera in, and one video back. We're assuming in a home location that you potentially have access to the internet, so you can just plug it into the local LAN or potentially use the Wi-Fi. We have the 2 channel, where actually I want 2 cameras and 2 return videos, maybe one return video to show your director or whoever you're interviewing, but the other one could be used for auto cue. And then we have the 2 channel plus, which is the same as the 2 channel, but as well as connecting to the LAN and Wi-Fi, if I'm in a very remote location with no internet connectivity, I can add SIM cards to the device. So it comes with inbuilt modems within the device itself. Again, fully managed through link matrix. It can all be managed remotely, full IFB. From here, on the receiving end, we can actually live stream straight to social media via link matrix without the need for a decoder. However, if I'm wanting to use HD SDI workflows at the receiving end, then we can sell you a decoder, and that's basically what will create the HD SDI stream if you so need it as well. And again, complete with file-based workflows. You can record locally or in the cloud, and then we can provide the microphone, or actually you can just bring your own microphone as well.
And the good thing is that the return video is now on SDI. Well, in previous it was always in HDMI, but now we also offer it in SDI available, and even 2 outputs.
Right, right. So the next one, so this is our new product that no one's seen before. So this is what we've been developing right now. And I actually have a video, which I'll show a little bit after that, which sort of gives an overview of what it looks like. But basically, in the box, everything is self-contained. So the camera's in there, the screen's in there. You don't need to add anything. It's portable. You can ship it. What sort of size did we say it was, Michelle?
It's 30 centimeters high,
right.
And about 18 centimeters deep and 20 wide.
And the weight of the device?
It's a few kilos.
A few kilos.
5 kilos.
So it's very light. And it can come with internal modems, a LAN or Wi-Fi as well. So it can be totally self-contained. And again, a bit like the rack version, we can stream directly to the web from here or to a broadcast center if they have a decoder creating the HD SDI workflows as well. So similar to the rack, but all self-contained. Now, what I do have, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a second because I have a little animation which I can show. So, I want to share my whole screen, I think. And then what I'm going to do is share my screen. No,
show all windows.
Show a window. There we go.
Show all windows, and then you select the video.
There we go. Yeah.
It's the third one.
Oh, there we go. It's at the top. Yeah. I got a bit of finger trouble.
Yes.
Right. Here we go. Here we go. So it's worth the wait. Trust me. So here we go. It's a very quick animation of what it looks like from the front and the back. So basically, the camera just slides out the top. You have the screen at the front as well.
And also a V-mount on the back, so it is both battery powered as powered on 12 volts by an adapter. So it is really also able to really bring it mobile into the field that you just use it on a terrace or actually outside.
Great. So I'm just going to go back to the us, basically. And actually, that sort of concludes the products. But one thing I will say, let me just share my screen once again and go back to the PowerPoint, because on the next slide, it might be interesting. As a company, we obviously have a range of encoders and live streaming devices. And actually, even the ones we have currently outside of the Trolley family, we can basically use for live streaming. So from the very low end, which is the TerraLink Mini, which is a very low cost H.265 encoder, we return video, up to our high-end products, which are the AirLinks. And again, these can all be used for remote live streaming. So this one particularly, it's just sits on a table. You can plug in a camera, has a return video, has a local IFB, but it's a very low-cost, self-contained platform as well.
You can make your own Trolley TV with it.
Yes, that's what we're saying. So you can make your own Trolley TV with this particular platform. And again, they're all compatible with Link Matrix. So if you have a need or requirement for remote streaming, by all means, contact us, and we'd be more than happy to look at what suits you best for your particular requirement. So now it's Q&A session time. So again, I go back to stopping the share.
Did you already mention that Trolley TV also, Trolley Live also has an SDI return video output? Did you already mention that? You can use the screen, but you can also add SDI on the back, actually.
I thought I had, but I think you've mentioned it again.
I missed it perhaps, but I think it's good.
I might have overlooked something.
Because I'm very proud about the ISDN return video.
Yes,
so
yes.
It really makes us have a two-way video solution.
Yes, no, quite. So we always like to say we have the technology, but perhaps we don't have quite the talent for doing webinars. It's me and Michelle, but I think we do okay. Right, let's start. So questions. Which smartphones are supported?
Now, we support the whole iPhone family as of iPhone 6. Today, we even did a test on the iPhone 6 to confirm it. Yeah, that still works, all the way up to 11. And I heard the 12 is also coming quite soon. On the Android, we support it. It's a bit depending. It's the high end, definitely. But sometimes you have to test. We discovered over the years that Android phones, you have very many flavors of it, with many different implementations. But the most high end will work. And it's a matter of testing, and we can point you to the download link, which is actually on our website, not on the Google Play Store. The iPhone store, Apple Store, we are in actually, for both the Mac and your phone.
Okay. The next question for Maud. what would be the end-to-end latency glass-to-glass when you're using the Streamur app?
It should be 2 seconds.
2 seconds?
What you configure in the phone is actually the end-to-end latency. And that should fit.
And the latency on the Trolley Live family?
That's lower. That starts at 0.8 seconds, actually.
Okay. Laurent, can you connect external antennae for the GSM LTE network?
No, the default Trolley Live, so the self-contained box, has the antennas built into the side plates. But of course, if you take the rack mount version, you can connect your own antennas to it. You get it by default delivered with small swivel antennas, but you can connect any type of antennas to it, which are, for example, outside.
Right. And we could provide those antennas as well?
Yeah, we have a dome antenna as well. So a well-known high gain antenna that you can actually put on the top of a car, for example, or just outside the window.
Okay. Jorg, Link Matrix is a license per system or by client/user?
No, it's per live. So you can have the app installed on 1,000 iPhones, but you can only get live in the amount of licenses. So if you have 4 licenses, you can get live with 4 iPhones at the same time.
Okay.
And it's a yearly fee.
And for Link Matrix?
Link Matrix is included in the yearly fee, actually.
Yes, so Link Matrix we actually provide free of charge with our products. Where can I get the app? I think you mentioned that.
In the App Store or from our website for the Android.
How do I live stream live to YouTube or Facebook?
That goes via the Link Matrix as well. So in the Link Matrix, you have to sign up with your Facebook or YouTube account. Then we get officially linked by you. And then we can stream on your behalf. So you can create it in the Link Matrix a live streaming event. And by a simple drag and drop or selecting from your iPhone list, you can get yourself live.
Yeah. Especially with the phone, because it's H.264, Facebook and those things.
Yeah, the phone supports definitely H.264 because then you can go to the socials without transcoding because all the socials does not support H.265 yet. So you have to do it with H.264.
Okay. Someone's just making the comment. There's questions in the chat. We'll go to the chat in a second. What is the protocol you are using for transmission in Streamur App?
The protocol is our own WNT protocol. It's encrypted and it's based on the same protocol that is used within the WNTs, a little bit different version that fits really on iPhones and Android.
Okay, UCP as well, isn't it?
Yeah, UDP, yes.
UDP, sorry.
Yeah, UDP, yes.
Salesman. Is it possible to adapt a light on the trolley?
Yeah, in the animation that is missing, but there is a small, 2 small LED pieces that give enough light when you're close by. So really in an interview style, yes.
Right. Do I need a server? I'm assuming at the receiving end. So we touched on this slightly. So with Link Matrix, you can live stream straight to a social media or a CDN without the need for a server. So you would have a server at the decoding end if you do need HD SDI or if you want to control your own social media uploads. At the receiving end with a decoder, you can have obviously not just say HD SDI, but RTMP, RTSP, and NDI.
Yeah,
well.
right.
Can you clarify what you mean by live licensing of Link Matrix? Are you charging by the hour or gigabyte of streaming?
No, you just pay the Link Matrix by default is for free.
Yep.
And if you want to go to the social media, you have to pay a monthly fee. And that's it. So we are not charging you for any gigabyte you're streaming. So you can just use it for going live to the Facebooks and YouTube.
So if you are using if you are using the Link Matrix to go direct to social media, there is a small fee for doing that. Yeah, a small
fee. If you just use the Link Matrix for management and drag and drop it on your decoders, that's included.
Yep. Is it possible to use the live app at the same time with the return sound, or do I have to use another mobile phone?
No, there is return sound in the app. So you can just use your iPhone or your Bluetooth headset to communicate via the app. So you can hear it directly via the app.
Yep. Is the Streamur app could be received via any playout 2K4 or need a certain firmware version?
No, every player 2K4 will work, no problem.
So 2K4 is our own playout server for those who are not aware. Do you have a support service?
Yes, we have. So if you pay the support fees, then you can actually, depending on your level, you can call 24/7. Or you can approach us during office hours.
Sure. So we have a gold, silver, bronze support. Gold is 24/7. Silver is business hours, business days. And bronze is, well, it's primarily for free, but when you call, we then charge appropriately. Can you give, 24/7 streaming? Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, depending a bit on your battery of your mobile. If you talk about mobile phone, then of course you should pay attention that with all those phone apps, they use your battery. That's something we cannot change. That's how life works, the video encoding. So you cannot do hours on an iPhone or Android phone. You have to bring a backup battery or an actually battery pack with you.
Can you give any examples of use or non-near or sports programs during the current lockdown?
The current lockdown, it's of course no sports at all, so it's really from people at home. But we see actually talk shows who normally come from a studio. Now actually the host we see with high quality, with a WMT, with an high quality camera. But we see many guests then coming in by also by our iPhone app. So we're really proud about it.
Yep.
And it also of course stimulates to give this webinar because we see actually the app more used than we ever expected. So it is really a use case.
Yep, absolutely. Right, what I'm going to do now is that, so that's the Q&A session. Thank you so much for those.
Talk shows, I think, is a good example where you also can use it for.
Yep. So what I'm going to do now is just minimize this. I'm going to have a quick look in the chat room now, which I think everyone can see, but let me go. Hi, can we record the session to circulate it to our colleagues who couldn't attend? Yes, this is being recorded. So the intention is we're going to follow up this with a quick email, which will give the link for the record. But also at the end of this, I'm going to give my email address as well. So if you do have further questions, then by all means, please feel free to
and also get your login account from us so that you can try it yourself. So you can really test the app yourself because the demo over here under the camera is a little bit awkward sometimes. So then you can actually push all the buttons yourself and play around with it and test the IFB. And make your own interviews and try it out with a colleague. Stream yourself on YouTube, Facebook, and see if it is what you like.
That's fantastic. Good morning from Halifax. Hello from the Netherlands. Hello from Dubai. Fantastic. Does Streamur work with HEVC?
Not yet. No, it's on the planning, but at the moment we still are in H.264 because many of the streaming destinations are actually the social medias which only like H.264. So that's also why it is interesting to stay in H.264, but it will get there. We will get there.
Yes. What's the minimum delay? Right, depends on the product. So
the iPhone is 2 seconds, and the Trolley is 0.8, and that will get lower also over time.
Can I put the Trolley on a tripod?
I think you potentially can do it. There is not a hole made on the bottom, so you need to have a kind of carrying thing to make. Which of course I think is possible, but the idea is that you put it on a table. So that's why
it's just a flat bottom, isn't it? You can just plonk it on a table.
Yeah, and that's also why we flip out actually the camera, that you can just put it on the course. When it flip out, the camera gets really on eye height, so you really look right into the camera. It's also why the display is below the camera, so you can do an auto cue, so people keep on watching in the camera more or less.
Okay. Is it possible to use the live app? I think we've had this question already. It's possible to use the live app at the same time with the return sound, or do I have to use another mobile phone? We answered that, and the answer is no. Why is there a big difference from one camera to the other? Is that, I'm not sure.
It's Web Streamer in the App Store, good that you know, yes.
Yep. Is it called Web Streamer in the App Store? Not Streamer, that's correct. I think we've done all the chat. Well, that's great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen again, which I know does become a little bit painful, but I'm going to do it. And on here, hopefully on the next slide, is my email address. There we go. So if you require further information, then by all means do drop me an email. My email address is m.andrews@mobileviewpoint.com. If you've got questions about the license, then I would suggest sending an email to sales@mobileviewpoint.com. And by all means, there's a lot more information on our website at www.mobileviewpoint.com. So that really does conclude our webinar for today. I'd just like to thank you all for attending. From myself, Mark Andrews.
Michel Weiss, also from our studio here in Alkmaar. Stay safe, everybody, and try the app.
Try the app, for sure. We do have some more webinars coming up, so keep an eye on your email. If you're interested in joining us again, we'd be happy to have you. And until that time, well, please stay safe, and thanks again. Until next time, goodbye.